Warning: the following story contains details of child abuse and institutional failures involving children in care. What happened inside Lambeth Council children's homes is considered one of the worst child abuse scandals in British history. For decades, vulnerable children placed into the care system were subjected to horrific sexual abuse, violence, cruelty, intimidation, and racism by the very adults trusted to protect them. The independent inquiry into child sexual abuse, known as IICSA, investigated abuse linked to Lambeth Council dating back to the 1960s. The inquiry examined several children's homes, including Shirley Oaks, South Vale, Angel Road, Ivy House, and Monkton Street. Between 1965 and 2000, around 15,000 children passed through Lambeth Council's care system. More than 2,400 children lived at Shirley Oaks between 1965 and 1983. By June 2020, Lambeth Council was aware of at least 705 former residents from just 3 homes, Shirley Oaks, South Vale and Angel Road, who had made allegations of sexual abuse. At Shirley Oaks alone, there were allegations involving at least 529 former residents and 177 staff members or individuals connected to the home. The inquiry concluded the real number of victims is likely far higher and may never be fully known. The inquiry also uncovered racism inside the care system, with survivors describing racist abuse, discrimination, and harsher treatment by staff. The inquiry found Lambeth Council repeatedly failed to protect children. Staff ignored allegations. Dangerous adults remained employed around children, and suspected abusers were often allowed to quietly leave and continue working elsewhere. Despite decades of abuse allegations, only one senior council employee was ever disciplined over a 40-year period. Several individuals connected to Lambeth Children's Homes were later arrested, prosecuted, and convicted. Former priest Philip Temple, also known as Philip Bullock, became one of the most notorious figures linked to the scandal. Temple worked at Shirley Oaks during the 1970s and was first interviewed by police in 1977 over abuse allegations, but no charges were brought at the time. Decades later, in 2016, the ex-priest pleaded guilty to 29 child sexual abuse offences involving 13 victims, including children connected to Shirley Oaks. His sentence was increased from 12 years to 18 years after intervention from the Attorney General. William Hook, a former care worker at Shirley Oaks, was charged in 2001 with more than 40 offences involving children in care. He pleaded guilty to 26 offences involving 7 victims and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Lambeth Council later became aware of allegations from at least 65 children connected to Hook. Michael Carroll, who worked at Lambeth Children's Homes including Angel Road, was convicted in 1999 after facing 76 counts relating to child sexual abuse. He pleaded guilty to 34 charges and received a 10-year prison sentence. Patrick Grant, another staff member connected to Shirley Oaks and South Vale, was originally prosecuted in 1978, but not convicted. In 2019, decades later, he was convicted of 8 indecent assault offences involving children and sentenced to 8 years in prison. Leslie Paul, another care worker linked to South Vale, was convicted on multiple occasions in 1994, 2002 and 2016 for sexual offences against children in Lambeth Care. Across those convictions, he received prison sentences including 30 months, 18 months and later 13 years imprisonment. Geoffrey Clark, a former worker in Lambeth Children's Homes, was convicted in 1998 for sexual abuse offences against children. He later faced further charges before taking his own life on the day his trial was due to begin. The Metropolitan Police launched multiple investigations into the scandal, with around 50 active investigations still ongoing as late as 2020. One of the most disturbing findings involved a child publicly known as LA-A2, who died in a bathroom at Shirley Oaks in 1977. The inquiry found Lambeth Council failed to tell the coroner the child had previously alleged sexual abuse by a housefather. The inquiry ultimately concluded that generations of vulnerable children were catastrophically failed by the institutions responsible for protecting them, and warned that the true scale of abuse may never be fully known. Victims later received compensation through a Lambeth Council redress scheme. More than 2,200 survivors applied, with over £100 million paid out by 2024. Payments ranged from £1,000 to over £125,000, depending on the severity of abuse. Thank you for watching.